Well, this is Dateline News and Conversation. My guest, she's back after quite a long hiatus, Professor Maria Nikolakaki from Greece. Maria, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, dear Regis. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be on your show. Thank you.
Well, I want to talk tonight about Greece because there's not much in the news anywhere about what's been happening and what is happening in your country. So, the first thing I want to ask you about is what happened to the economy? Uh, from what I remember, like Greece went bankrupt. You had to borrow extensively from, I don't know, the IMF or the World Bank. Can you tell us what the heck happened and why?
Well, if we want to really describe what happened, it was a financial war against Greece, where Greece was targeted, and with technical manufacturing, they rose the debt of the country. So what happened then was that Greece was obliged to get more into debt, a debt that has been radically increasing all these years. And three things happened, which were tectonic shifts to Greek economy. The first is that all its public property has been given away for 99 years to be used, quote unquote, sold to wherever this institution called Taiped, which is not under the Greek government, it is under the Troika, which is ECB, EU, and IMF. And so all of Greek property is being sold to where they decide they need to sell it. That's one major tectonic shift that does not exist in any other colony, and I don't think it has ever happened before. The second thing that happened was that they gave all the tax collection, it was removed from the state and it was given to this other independent institution called ADE, which also, apart from having collecting the taxes, so Greece has not access to the money coming from the taxpayers. Um, the other thing that they did was that they put this internet e-government um, uh, mechanism where anything that you do or any exchange with the public sector, you have to go through this. So practically, the government has been moved away from the Greek people. It's been given to those who created the debt and took away the national sovereignty of Greece. So this is a prototype of a country that we might see in the future happening in other countries too. It is part, I think, of the global governance way of management. And Greece has been an experiment, a guinea pig, of how through debt they colonize the country. So this is, I think, a very distress has put much distress on Greek people who have been suffering from low wages. We have the lowest GDP PPP in EU. We had a fairly strong economy before that, and we are under psychological warfare, where we are being victimized for not being able to get out of this debt trap that they put us in. I think that not many people have realized what has happened to Greece over the years, and it is something that should worry every democratic mind in the world.
Wow, I think that's a very dangerous precedent. But let me ask you why? Why did this? Why was Greece targeted? Why did this happen?
Um, One thing that happened was that since the Second World War to 2010, Greece was under this American memorandum, the Cooper Agreement, where U.S. could do to Greek soil whatever it wanted. So we were practically, after World War II, we were made into a U.S. colony, and that ended in 2010. The other thing that has been going on is that the Aegean Sea has oil which is not yet developed. They need some other things to actually pass by, and one of those things is the agreement that Turkey wants 50% of the Aegean Sea, which most Greeks do not want, because Aegean Sea has always been a Greek sea. And I mean, Turkey, of course, has become a strong country, but it cannot impose on Greeks their will. Of course, we have a government that is very well prepared to surrender any national rights, sovereignty rights we have also in the Aegean Sea.
Let me jump in. Uh, I want to ask about your government. Uh, do you have a president or a prime minister, and how was that person elected, or was it selected? Like, uh, so much pressure from the EU or from the United States, or what? So tell me about the government and what happened to it. And it's obviously Greece has lost its national sovereignty. That is horrific. I mean, Greece is a very ancient country that has given the world so much. It's just hard for me to believe that. But tell me about this government. How did it get imposed?
I mean, this is a very Zionist government, and the father of Mitsotakis, who is the president, the prime minister right now, was the first one which opened relations with Israel. Till then, Greece was with its Arab brothers, supporting Palestine, supporting the Arab world. I mean, Greece, I always have said, it was part of the Byzantine, and then it was part of the Ottoman Empire, of course, but it never was in the West. The West, it did not include Greece, although they claim that Western civilization is based on Greek and Christian civilization. Greece was always part of the Eastern world. Now, the father of Mitsotakis opened this recognition of Israel as a state in 1996. And then in 2018, the World Jewish Congress, AGC, I can't remember what it means, they rewarded Kyriakos Mitsotakis, which is the prime minister, for the role of his father in recognizing Israel and bringing the two states together. In a couple of, after that, in the next elections, Mitsotakis was elected as a prime minister. We have this series of governments since the memorandums, where Greece and Israel are coming closer as states, as governments, but not as people. So we see this that Greeks have their traditional friends, which is Russia, it's Iran, it's all the Arab world, and gallops that go by have support for these countries over 60 to 70%. And then you have the government, which is against the people's will, and they are collaborating with Ukraine, with Israel. I mean, these are, if you look at in Greece, you can't find, I have not found around where I go and I live, a supporter of Ukraine. And support for Israel has been somehow technically risen since some Zionists developed this let's say discourse that Israel will help Greece to fight Turkey. Now, if you see all the blah blah that then after Iran, Israel is going to attack Turkey, blah blah. This is simply ridiculous if you look deep down on it, because Turkey and Israel have been traditional friends. You can see Turkey and Israel in Syria occupying the country. You can see the collaboration of Israel and Turkey with Azerbaijan against Armenia. You can see that they have many plans, common plans, where they work together. You see that 40% of Israel's gas goes through Turkey, from Azerbaijan. You see that the trade between these two countries is very high as ever. So it's really naive to believe that Israel will fight Turkey. Of course, let's see if they can get over the war with Iran. But the point here, I believe, is to create a war event, making Greece a proxy for Israel, because Israel doesn't fight, it only uses proxies like USA to do its fighting. And then maybe they can make Greece into another Syria with Turkey. Many Greeks, which are hard right, cannot see the full picture. They admire Israel for its brutality, and they believe that the technological advances of Israel can be used for us against Turkey. Anyone with half a brain knows that Israel does not share its technology. On the contrary, the government of Syriza in 2015 actually made a military agreement with Israel after the OHI that became yes. It made an agreement with Israel for military partnership. Now, no other country was humiliated in accepting such a kind of reliance on Turkey, because the point is that what Israel got out of this relationship, let's say agreement, is that they can use our airspace and our ground to do their testing without even asking the Greek government. Varoufakis said that, and it was shocking to me to hear that. It's giving national sovereignty to another country. They made this air base in Kalamata, and they put their Elbit systems there for common training of Israeli and Greek pilots, and so now to have the airplanes leave the airfield, they need some codes that they have to get from Israel. So you can't use your airplanes, your military airplanes, unless Israel agrees on that. So this is very worrisome, because you can also see how Greece is being colonized through real estate. They are buying houses. They are making a kibbutz out of Thessaloniki. They are everywhere. They are buying whole areas like Exarchia or in Thessaloniki, all over Greece, and having the houses so cheap because of the memorandum. It's like 1/3 of what they would buy a house in Israel. A shocking thing for me was when I was going abroad in airport. They had this big sign in Hebrew showing the Acropolis and saying that don't leave Greece without buying a house you can buy from 90,000 euros.
Wow, Maria, uh, I've heard just a little bit about what you've been describing, but not in the detail that you have described. Um, for me, it's very troubling because, all eyes around the rest of the world has been on Israel in Gaza, Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, and now Iran. And uh, in the eyes of the rest of the world, Israel really has isolated itself. People everywhere despise Israel, and but I hope that people are watching this will understand that Israel, how Israel is involved in your country. Uh, Basically, you said a Zionist government. My God, cooperation with their government, with their military. This is terrifying as far as I'm concerned. I feel so badly for the Greek people and your country, uh, which really was the birthplace of democracy. Uh, it is so sad to hear about this and see that happening in your country. Um, I want to ask you one more thing, Maria, before we finish. Um, I heard from a friend, a Canadian friend, who is Orthodox Greek. Um, he he said something to me that not only uh, is Greece abandoning orthodoxy, but Greece has become anti-Russian. Um, and I know because I'm living here in Crimea that over 2,600 years ago, Greeks came into the Black Sea area and Crimea and colonized it. I've studied this extensively since I've been here, and I've met many Greek people. There are still communities of Greeks here, and they are East Greek Orthodox, not Russian, right here in Russia. And I just think to me, it's unbelievable what's happened in Greece, and I don't think that the people of Greece, who have been friendly historically with Russia, with Crimea, would want anything to do with being anti-Russian. What are your comments on that?
We are not anti-Russian. We have an occupation of globalist Zionists in the government that go against the will of the people. Most Greeks hope that Russia can come and save us, because this condition is so overwhelming that it is destroying Greekness as such. We have cultural wars, we have religious wars. They are destroying our education. They are doing whatever they can to bring Greeks down. And this is, but Greeks and Russians, they have long memories that go beyond what this government is about. And I really hope that sometime in the future, Greeks can take back their country, and then we can flourish within the Eastern world, with Russia, with Iran, which has always been on our support. When we went into memorandums, it was Iran that gave free oil to Greece, and we didn't have any cuts of gas, and we didn't have any problem. It was Iran that saved us, because Iran, Persians, and Greeks go back. We have common history, thousands of years.
Maria, uh, you mentioned a couple of times the government uh, doesn't represent the people. In fact, the government is acting against the will of the people. Maria, you see the exact same thing all across the EU, from west all the way east. The same thing. I'm talking all the way to Sweden and Norway and Denmark. Uh, I've been following that, and a lot of people have been following that. You know, these people in Brussels, basically, well, not basically, they're all unelected bureaucrats. Uh, they do not represent the sovereignty of each of the countries in Europe. And I'm talking about very old countries like Italy, like France, like Spain, uh, very old cultures. And you know what, Maria? We're seeing that right now in the United States of America. People are becoming more and more aware uh, of what the government is doing, not just perpetual wars, but doing all kinds of things that are not in the interest of America. And the number one thing that the American government is doing is representing the interest of Israel.
Exactly.
This
It's
is
all
very
about
well known.
Israel. It's all about Israel. This
Yeah.
octopus has been infiltrating all the countries. So they do, with governments through World Economic Forum, through all these young future leaders programs and everything. So they have been the countries are under occupation from the Zionists. And I mean, if we don't do something nationally and collectively to overthrow this oppressive boot, which, mind you, they are intending to intensify through the digital era and technocracy. I think we need to have another discussion on this at some point about technocracy 2.0. We have talked about it before, but now it's becoming very, very apparent. Um, with a digital ID, with a digital money, currency, with digital infrastructure everywhere, controlling the countries, the peoples. I think that we need to wake up and see that it's Zionism is not only what we see in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Syria, all around Middle East, or in USA, because actually USA is going down the drain because it has been doing Israel's war for over 20 years, and it's turning broke, and it has depleted its weapons. So the empire is being destroyed by doing Israel's will. And the same goes around other countries. We are suffocating because Zionism is something broader than what we see in Israel.
Yeah. And I would point out that looking what Israel is doing, you can call it Zionism, but it's neo-Nazi. They're doing to the people of the world, the people of uh, of of Gaza, Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, and now Iran, what the Nazis did to them during World War II. And
It's
so
absolute totalitarianism, absolute totalitarianism.
yeah, well, I
And
was
two courts this week, one in UK and one in Germany, delivered decisions that uh, remarking on Zionism is not the same with anti-Semitism. So, despite the will of Israel to pass the IHB 2, I think, definition of anti Semitism, which includes any criticism to Israel, two courts in one in Germany and one in UK, mind you, the two most close um, uh, countries to Israel have made this decision, and also they say that uh, there have been some attempts to also legalize the equation of Zionism with Nazism. I'm not sure if this will be achieved, but it's something that I think uh, can can pass the control, the check fact of history. I mean,
so
I saw this report these days that the Zionists have killed more children than during the Holocaust.
Yeah.
So this is something also which has the significance of its own. And as humanity, through Nazism, to disrespectfulness, at least, because we can't say that it disappeared or it vanished or anything. It was just hidden under the rug. But it's not okay unless you're in Ukraine to support Nazism openly. And I hope that sometime we can actually say about how Zionism is a misanthropic Jewish superiority, supremacy that that divides the people into Jews and Goyams, and which has no place in humankind, because it's disrespectful for those who support these ideas, and it is disrespectful for the rest of us.
I want to end on this note, Maria. Uh, you mentioned, and people everywhere are saying, people have to wake up to do something before it's too late. Uh, we could pick up on what you just mentioned again next week. Um, and I want to end on this note. I'm living in the Russian Federation. Uh, we in Yalta have experienced uh, the bombing for the first time a little over 2 weeks ago. Devastating attacks on our power grid. We've been out. That little delay, if it appears, is caused by interruptions with our internet. And uh, I want to say this in conclusion: uh, the rest of the world can thank Russia for carrying this battle to the Zionists, to the Nazis uh, in not only Ukraine, but they've been identified by Russia as all over Europe and the United States. This behavior. Everybody thought that Nazism was ended in World War II. But here we are 81 years later, it's rising its ugly head. And I think the only country that has resisted what we've been talking about, fighting for its sovereignty, its cultural heritage, its history, uh, of fighting this battle for the rest of the world. In my mind, if Russia does not win, and I don't mean just win in Ukraine, but win this ideological battle against the West, I don't think we have a lot to hope for. Maria, we'll do
Long
it
live
again.
Russia.
We'll do it again next week. Thank you so much. It's great to see you again. I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you very much, Greg. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.